There's a spirit in the Outaouais, some might say so. From the valley of the Ottawa to the hills of the Gatineau. And the spirit finds expression in the arts and in the songs, in the paintings, in the sculptures, in this place that we call home. Call this heart of the hidden hills. Call this heart of the hidden hills.
Hello everyone, I'm Matt Selleck with the 100 Mile Arts Network. Welcome back to our Hidden Hills, the program that explores the arts here in the Gatineau Hills and beyond. In today's episode, we bring you to our travels in the north, from Low to Maniwaki, and we introduce to you some of the people and places we met along the way. We begin in the Algonquin First Nation Reserve of Kitigan-Zibi-Anishinabek. The reserve is the largest Algonquin nation in Canada, and from there have come a number of artists whose work has received critical acclaim both locally and internationally. We visit with Keith Whiteduck, a musician and composer whose introduction to classical music as a teenager shaped his career in a whole new direction. But first, let's meet John Tanasco, a local painter whose work has taken him all over the world.
I'm John Tanasco. I'm from here, Kitigan-Zibi, and I was born here, moved away, so I moved back. So this is my home base, my house, and this is where I do all my work and stuff. Well, I was artistic when I was young, so I only started painting around when I was a teenager, I think, and we had no art program in Maniwaki, and so I ended up drawing in my scribblers, my books, anything. Basically started all like that. So I moved to Ottawa and went to high school, university. I took up the arts there and painting, sculpture, anything. Influences come from all over the place. Music, poetry, writing, all kind of pop artists crop up. I do a little bit of pop and just about anything. Anything that makes me click. I like abstract art. For the art, usually I like movement, like a sense of movement in it. And try to keep in with the culture, the Algonquin, Anishinaabe culture in it. It always comes out somehow. It could be a total abstract and still look native somehow. It's like most artists, you paint what, or you write, you paint what you know. So I'm more familiar with my culture. And if it comes out, it just simply does. It just starts with making a mark on a canvas. I'll just take a big dab of black or blue or brown and I'll smear it around with a credit card or maybe a brush. I use a brush. And I just smear it all over the place, make all kind of marks. And I just, from then on, it's all like intuition. And so if I like one piece, I'll try to keep it in one piece, one aspect of a painting. And now I'll totally change it because it doesn't match with what I just did. And so I bounce around like that. And one thing leads to another. And, I only know at the end and when I think it's finished. I did a painting one time for a show. And I forget what it was because it turned into 5 different paintings over those years. And, so I went to a show and I was looking at it again and I decided to paint over it, so I did. It went to another show in Ottawa, and then next thing you know, a couple of months later, I was in another show in Finland, and I brought it there, and then again it came back with me. And then 2 years later, I went to Athens with the painting and brought it there, and it was something else again. So it didn't sell, brought it back to Maniwaki, and a couple of years later, I looked at it again, and I finished it 2 years ago. So all in all, it was 17, 18 years. So my sister owns it now. She liked it. And I just gave it to her. So a painting could take that long. If I want to really say something, I'll resort to realism. There'll be aspects of realism in it. I'll use lettering and, stencils or whatnot. And something I really want to get across, which I can't do with abstract or other, forms of painting. I'll use realism. Oh, I do sculpture sometimes. Not big sculpture, but I'll whittle around. And I used to paint with oil all the time, but it's just too smelly and messy, And did photography at one time at Outaouais, and that was nice. And darkroom and all this before digital cameras, and now we got a darkroom. And then I play drums a bit, and we have a little band here. And, well, it's outlet. Oh, next I plan on going bigger again. Making bigger works. I like to make these bigger ones again, like this. That's my first abstract. And hopefully I get more places to show more shows. And eventually do this instead of what I have to do for money. I'd rather paint. Make art, not just paint. And generally make my living as an artist.
My name is Keith Whiteduck. I'm from Kitigan ZB Reserve. So I figured I'd go into music in Sudbury, Cambrian College. And my first year actually was a guitar major, and my second year I switched to a piano major after I seen my first piano concert. It was awesome, it blew my mind. I sat there and I just thought to myself, I want something to sound something like Debussy, Clair de Lune. The finale of that piece has this very cool chord progression, so I tried to mimic that. And I figured out the harmony structure, so I use that as the main motive for the piece, Enter Keith Whiteduck. Starting in college, actually, where I got introduced to playing a lot of different instruments, like there was wind class, there was strings class. We had to take all these different things. So it was my first time ever picking up a violin and a saxophone. So now I have both those, saxophone, violin, guitar. A lot of the time I think it just takes introducing someone to something, and that kind of lights the fire. My favorite instrument to practice is violin. I feel like I could just stay on that thing for hours and just fiddle away at it. The one that feels physically the best, though, for the body, for me, is the saxophone. I feel like it uses most of the body compared to the piano, which is mainly fingers and arm movement. Saxophone takes up like a lot of air and lung energy, and I feel more connected with it just physically. It's something that I just feel like I have to do, or I want to do. I don't really think about achieving anything. I'm just gonna do it, regardless whether or not there's any kind of reward.
Both Keith Whiteduck and John Tanasco can be found as part of our network. But if you'd like to learn more about local Algonquin artists, the Kitigan-Zibi Cultural Center is an excellent resource that features works of art relating to Algonquin culture and history. Just follow the links at the end of our program. Our next stop is to the community of Blue Sea. In this picturesque village that surrounds Blue Sea Lake, an old disused church rectory has found a new home in the form of an art gallery and cultural center. We met and spoke with gallery founder Sylvie Grégoire, who showed us around and shared with us a bit of their history and their hopes for the future. We follow this with a visit to jeweler John Urban and his beautiful creations in the community of Low. Let's take a look.
Some people would tell us at the beginning, it's not going to work, this is not going to work. And we're going, well, we're surrounding ourselves with people that believe that it's going to work. And these people come and dance and celebrate with us now. Yeah, because they see that we've succeeded and it's not that complicated, just beauty, beauty everywhere, you know. What happened is that the municipality decided to buy this building and they didn't have a project for it. So I was teaching art for many, many years and I was kind of leaving the schools and I said, well, I have a project for you. So what is your plan? And I said, the cultural center. Finally, the municipality said, okay, go for it. So I spent 1 year with the DG, José Parsons, who's traveling the world now, who was the DG of the municipality, visionary, strong lady, beautiful, and we would work together to put this place in the light, in a cultural light. So as a visual artist, naturally, I decided to go get all my friends that were here, that used to teach also, Donald Doiron, Raymond Warren. I had many artist friends, so they all came and brought something, and we started like that, very simply. We needed culture here because hunting and fishing is important, but culture is also. And the kids of the school. We want the kids of the school to see beautiful things, and it's happening.
So this is your work.
C'est mon travail. Beaucoup de couleurs, beaucoup de couleurs. C'est from the garden, I would say from the garden to the works, because I've never made so many plants. All the writing tools, all from the garden. These are roots from the corn, and they end up in the paper pulp, and they make full circle, which become flowers. I have plenty in my workshop. Everything is good when you're an artist. As artists, we need a platform. We all have our workshops at home, but we're already isolated. And we need a place to share knowledge, share our art, share our music, because people won't survive alone. You know, we love to be alone, huh? Don't get me wrong, artists, we love our time, but we need to share. And this place is a place to share. This here is Marie Papille. Marie Papille, she's a chef, cuisinière, sommelière, and painter. She's a very good energy in this place. It's very significant. This exhibit is called Paradis Précaire, and you can see that it's carved. All his work is carved first in wood, but he makes his paper also because we have a handmade paper workshop at home. The vision is to have a window for artists to do things, but at the same time, thinking of what we're doing. No garbage, recycling, contemporary vision of what we should do, because in the region it's difficult. And we're all, in a way, avant-gardists, we're all artists, and there's not many places for artists around here. So now we realize that it was a must and a need, because the youth even are happy here. So there's 4 generations.
I think it's from an exposition I did like a year ago.
So these are all created on a computer?
Yeah. Yeah, obviously like this one.
Every year we have different artists, not too many because, you know, but it's always absolutely significant and beautiful. So art talks, art as a witness.
The community is very dynamic in helping other people and helping each other and in promoting things that are good for everybody. Artistic creation is a personal thing. Most artists work by themselves. I don't get my designs locally. I think of them. I get local people requesting custom designs. Those custom orders are all one-of-a-kind designs. That pleases the customers, but I don't repeat them because those were special designs conceived just for that customer. Since the beginning of the pandemic, I haven't had a single order. People are focusing on other things, and coincidentally, the price of gold has gone sky high. That has led me to offer people a 50% discount if they provide the gold, so that way they just pay for my labor. I focus on the problem, like a person wants a particular shaped stone set in a ring that expresses joy, for example. So I start thinking of, well, what symbolizes joy? And then I start thinking from that point on. I'd say the main focus of my work is being organic. I like working in 14 karat golds and in sterling silver. They're very nice precious metals that are very suited for jewelry making. They can be soldered, stones can be set in them, gold doesn't tarnish. My mother gave me fried eggs for breakfast every morning, and what happened was I got a little tired of fried eggs. So I would play with the yolk with my fork. There's 3 membranes on the yolk, and I would peel back 1 membrane at a time. And my mother would look over my shoulder and she would say, "John, I can see you doing eye operations. You're so good working with your hands. You can do very delicate things." Any kind of art is a way of expressing something that cannot be expressed easily in other ways. It can be very succinct, it can be very extended. It varies depending on what is necessary to express the idea well. Art can only be good through seeing the greatness in ordinary life. When someone sees deeply into something, that's a way of generating artistic ideas, seeing the beauty that's deep inside of everything. A lot of people just miss it.
Our last stop for the day takes us off the beaten path. From the town of Low, we take a few winding back roads to find ourselves in the community of Fieldville. Here, it's as though life moves at a more natural pace. And it's here that we meet husband and wife team of Denis Drouin and Tina Terrien. The pair live and work together, building timber frames in their workshop on site. But when they're not busy working or tending to their homestead, they're playing old-time Appalachian music. Let's meet Denis and Tina.
If you needed me, I would come to you. I'd swim the seas for to ease your pain.
My dad's record collection was my introduction to music, and my Uncle Reg. He played guitar and harmonica, and he was the house band for all of our family parties. He would play and we would square dance. I had an uncle, Bidou.
Square dance.
He called the dances, and every family get together was with, you know, Quebecois music and, well, Elvis and all that stuff, right? Just with the guitar and harmonica. And I mean, that's where I got my start. And then in high school, I met some bluegrass musicians, like world-class bluegrass musicians, and fell in love with bluegrass.
I also grew up with music, house parties. My dad and my grandfather, they introduced me to old country, so I have this love of old country music, and mostly I sang in choirs throughout my younger years, and then in high school I played baritone saxophone and tuba, yes, tuba. Oh. Somehow I was attracted to those big bassy instruments, and when in my 40s, actually, there was a Cajun band in Peterborough, and Peter Andre, who now lives in Wakefield, he asked me, because their singer had left, he said, "You speak French and you sing? You want to be the singer in the band?" I said, "Well, you can try me out." And then they stuck a triangle in my hand. I felt like a kindergarten kid. I didn't know how to do that. And then he said, "You play guitar? Only 3 chords, but you know." So anyway,
turns out
I became part of that Cajun band. And then when I moved here, I already had a good collection of old-time music, but I had never played it. So I got to get immersed in that with you, and I got to start to play the bass in my 50s, I think.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And then we have our chickens and our gardens and our beautiful red pines as our soundscape that help us when we're wanting to get inspired to play music. Country living really does drive that music for us.
You know, we almost always associate country music with country life. And, you know, when we could gather, the gatherings essentially always included music.
We used to host a monthly old-time jam where we had players come from Ottawa, Chelsea, Low, all over the place, and gather at Molo's, and to sit in that circle and play tunes together and see the joy on the players' faces was one thing, but then the people walking by just happening to hear the music or stopping in for a coffee, when they would see this group of musicians playing and all of us sharing that same music, you could see people transform. When they left that place, they were different. We were different when we left after one of those
Every
sessions.
time. Even sometimes, you know, you'd be gearing up to go and loading the car with a bass and a couple of fiddles and a guitar, and you think, well, we'll do this again, it'll be fun. And once it's happening, you go, wow, I can't believe it's this good again, you know? I think music and arts are the glue that make these communities really, really harmonize, you know? Is there somebody here? Mm-hmm. Hang on 2 seconds. Excuse me just a minute.
Hey guys, how's it going? Good. Mind if I join you for a few tunes?
Often ask us what it's like to live together, work together, play music together. Don't you get tired of being together all the time? And No.
It never occurs to me.
No.
Really. The longest we're usually apart is when, if Tina goes shopping and I don't go with her.
It's kind of a gift, isn't it?
It's what, you being away or the... Honestly, it flows really well. And we have a lifestyle that accommodates flexibility. Our commute is 32 paces to the workshop. We try to blend it so that we get what we need to live on and get to live this lifestyle. So in lieu of making a living, we live a lifestyle. Sometimes, hey, look, when you're out together all the time, it's going to get, have its moments, but they're minuscule compared to the, wow, can you believe how lucky we are moments.
Oh, it's amazing to find a partner who has the same dreams and actually you can realize them together.
That's what every day is, a new realization that it's possible and not just survival, but you can thrive living like this.
Well, that's it for today, folks. We hope you've enjoyed meeting some of the people and places from our travels. If you'd like to learn more about any of them, just follow the links at the end of this video or find us online at 100milearts.net. And remember, if you yourself are an artist or if you work in the arts in any way and would like to become a member, please feel free to reach out and sign up. It won't cost you a dime, but it will give you an opportunity to better connect with resources in the region. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to join us next week for our final episode when we travel to the regions of Chelsea and Lepech. We promise you there'll be music, stories, and good times. We hope to see you then.